Thank you all for joining this afternoon, and it's a pleasure to announce the kickoff of my campaign for re-election to the Community College District Board here in San Mateo County. It's a bit of a change this year. We are running by trustee areas instead of county-wide, and it was a good time for me to really stop and pause after 4 terms. Did I still have anything left to accomplish? Did I still have anything of value to add? And I don't think that anyone has divine right just to keep on serving in these roles forever. And I really gave very careful consideration. And at this point in our district, we have a number of challenges that we're facing that I think really I have some unique skills and knowledge and experience over the past years that really makes me uniquely qualified to take on the challenges that we're going to be facing going forward as the community college district. And it is going to be different. We're running by trustee areas now, and I'm proud to live in and represent trustee area 3, which consists of Burlingame, Hillsborough, Millbrae, San Bruno, and the western part of South San Francisco and the very northern part of the city of San Mateo. And I can pull up our little map here and show this. And it's been very gratifying, actually, as I've gone through a lot about this, to talk to people in trustee area 3 and see just the vast amount of support that people are showing for me to continue to serve in this role. And I really tried in putting this together today to make sure we had a good cross section. In fact, I think we have representation from every community in trustee area 3 speaking today and representing this. So we have a great lineup, and I'm not going to take more time talking now. I will make a few remarks at the end of this. But I did want to turn this over to some very special guests who I am very thankful that you all took time out of your busy schedules today to spend some time and tell people a little bit about why you're supporting me for re-election to the Community College District Board. So I will start off with our distinguished Jean Mullen, the Honorable Jean Mullen, our former state assembly member from the 19th Assembly District at the time, and former mayor and council member of the city of South San Francisco. And I think, as many of us know, and when we first met you, you were the San Mateo County's Teacher of the Year and a long-term high school government teacher and basketball coach at South San Francisco High School. And so with no further ado, let me turn this over to you, Jean, and I will unmute you here. And see, you should be good to go at this point. If you can unmute yourself, and I'll stop sharing the screen and let you take over at this point.
Well, thank you, Dave, for allowing me to share a few brief remarks, but more importantly, to endorse your reelection to the San Mateo County Community College District Board. As you well know, our relationship goes back many, many years. While I was still a classroom teacher in the 1990s, and prior to your first election to the College Board. And we discussed many of the issues about the transition from high school to community college. And then when I was in the assembly, we worked on an issue dealing with concurrent enrollment for high school students taking community college courses and how the financing would go on. Tricky issue, you were very much involved. I also did some work on enabling the community college district to provide staff housing. And that was a bit of a breakthrough, and it certainly has become a model for the rest of the state. Since I left the assembly, you and I have communicated on a regular basis about educational issues, and you've certainly kept abreast of what's going on, and I've been fortunate to be able to help you a little bit on that. I think you deserve re-election to the board to continue to provide, as you've mentioned, the stability at a time when there are many leadership changes, site leadership changes on the campuses as well as the chancellorship. And it's a time in our society, given the coronavirus, when many students that would ordinarily have gone away to college are probably going to take a year and use the community college experience because so much of that's going to be virtual going forward. And so it's important that we maintain a high quality district. And I think under your leadership, we've been able to provide excellent outcomes for all 3 campuses in the county. So you have always remained accessible, intensely involved in the district, and I look forward to your continued service and certainly feel very free in recommending your reelection. Good luck, Dave, and good luck to our district. Thank you for allowing me to share those remarks.
Thank you very much, Gene. I really appreciate those kind words. It's especially coming from someone with a so deep education, you very appreciated. Next up, I'm sure to ask San Mateo County Supervisor Dave Pine to say a few words. And Dave has a great background, not only as our supervisor from largely the same area as Trustee Area 3, but also as a Burlingame resident and a former trustee for the San Mateo Union High School District, and before that, the Burlingame School District, and his service in the School Boards Association, which some of you may not know, we actually have a very robust association of all the school trustees in the county who get together and share common interests and best practices, and Dave was the president of that association as well. So let me get you off of the mute here, if I can get my Zoom skills back, and ask you to say a few words. Supervisor Dave Pine, thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I've had the chance to work with Dave since he was first elected to the Community College District back in 2003. And Dave has always distinguished himself as a thoughtful and collaborative leader who's always well prepared and always really creative in coming up with solutions. So I too have served now in elected office since that time. So I've worked with hundreds of elected officials, and Dave is really amongst the really top tier of those individuals I've worked with. One of many examples of Dave's great work is the way he responded to the situation when the San Mateo County investment pool lost $150 million in the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy back in 2008. And Dave was really critical in really forcing a public dialogue about that and working with the county and school officials to make changes in the investment policy and really taking steps to make sure that we wouldn't get in that kind of problem in the future. As an observer of school districts, I'm always telling people that board members are critical to the success of a district. And it's of the utmost importance when we think of the community college district. The community colleges are such a unique and important institution. They're the gateway to to so many people's futures, and we really need to continue to do a top rate job with our community colleges. So we've been very lucky to have Dave involved with the district's leadership team all these years, and his considerable experience and skills and institutional knowledge are very important now. Welcome a new chancellor, welcome, I believe, 2 new board members, and go into a period of just tremendous uncertainty with the pandemic and economic pressures. So I'm thrilled that Dave is stepping up to continue to serve, and the district will benefit greatly from his reelection. Thanks, Dave.
Great, thank you, Dave. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for the kind words. And see, next I would like to introduce one of my other friends here from Hillsborough, Ann Huang Chen, who's been a governing board member of the Hillsborough City School District and a parent of a child about to go off to college as well. And let me just see if you can say a few words here, if I can manage to unmute you. Great, yes, I think you've got the floor now. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Dave. I'm so happy you asked me to be involved with this great cast of characters. You couldn't ask for a better group supporting you. We all believe in you. And I mean, just you look at San Mateo Community College District, and it's such a huge asset to our community. I got to tour CSM during my leadership program a couple of years ago, and I was just blown away. You have been part of the transformation of CSM, and I think our community is thinking differently about the community college district given what you've done. I came away just so jazzed about this asset, and one of my friends actually took chemistry classes last year at Kenyatta, and she said that there was a young man in her class who was going through taking his core classes, and he was accepted into every UC that he that he applied to. So I think it's a different, if it's a different day. And you mentioned my daughter, Patty, and I do think that our community college district is going to be a great resource for these kids that are just in this uncertain time, and could be a great resource for them instead of going away and, you know, getting their core classes done. But I think this is a time when we need trustees with experience when we're weighing the return to school versus virtual learning. And you have the experience to face the unknown, and you have the experience like going through the Great Recession in 2008, and we're going to be facing huge budget challenges given all that we've had to do to respond to the pandemic. I mean, 4 terms in 17 years, you've given so much to the community, and we are so lucky that you're willing to take on another term. So I just can't wait to see what you're going to do next.
Thank you, Anne. That's very kind. Thank you for those kind words. And next, I'd like to introduce a good friend from Millbrae, who's been a leader in that community for many, many years now, Mayor Wayne Lee, council member, Millbrae, past mayor, I guess I should say. But you know, you're actually a community college graduate yourself, which I think helped you get off to your terrific start and in life. And then you've been involved in education in Millbrae on the Educational Foundation, the PTA, and then moved on to the City Council. So thank you very much for being with us today. And let you have the opportunity to say a few words here. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Dave, Trustee Mandelkern, for inviting me to say a few words. It's daunting to have to say a few words after all these very distinguished guests that you've assembled, and that's a testament to the support of your re-election. And I'm glad you're doing this again. Time has gone by. One thing I can add is that Dave, for one thing, he's very much in touch with his community. I see Dave around the many functions, more so than I've seen many other trustees, except maybe Trustee Holliver. And I've spoken to you. You supported many causes for veterans, youth, all sorts of programs. And the reason why I think that's important is because, you know, when you're out in the community, you understand what the community needs. You understand what the community is going through. You understand how you can make the community better through education and through higher learning. So I'm very grateful for what you've done. I'm grateful for the commitment that you put into the community college, and I am proud of going to the community college program. And I went to Berkeley afterwards and got into one of the hardest programs that Berkeley offered at the time. So I was very happy to be able to go through that program. And I've always suggested people go to community college as a first choice. And given the quality of education, also the programs that you put together for all sorts of people in the community, all different types of people you can't even imagine, and giving them an opportunity to excel, giving them an opportunity to build up their courage, build up their confidence. So Dave, thank you very much for your steady hand. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate it very much. And again, as a fellow engineer, you got a great start at our community college and went on to a great program in chemical engineering at Berkeley. Next up, one of our newest elected officials in San Mateo County, Emerance Lee, who's a council member at City of San Mateo and is very active in North Central San Mateo and the Homeowners Association, and then on the Parks and Rec Commission and the General Plan Subcommittee. And it's a honored to get to know you as you've stepped up to San Mateo City Council and to work with you on a number of the common issues we have as College of San Mateo tries very hard to be a good neighbor and working very closely with the City of San Mateo. So let you say a few words now, Emma. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Dave. I'm really pleased to have some time to share on how much I admire you, and I'm excited for the next 4 years. I really, I don't measure your success by the 17 years that you've spent in service. I think that education has this butterfly effect, which is really immeasurable and unquantifiable. And I see the community college district really giving folks a chance, sometimes a second chance and even a third chance for folks from my neighborhood, right? Folks from North Central, immigrants, people of color, working families. And these are the people in our community that have so much to contribute, and education is the stepping stone. And I want to support you, Dave, because I really see the ways that you put your work forward through the stories of the students that you touch, through your own leadership. And I want to share a couple of stories that, that have surfaced in my community. So I'm thinking about Carlos Ruiz from CSM. He put himself through CSM by working as a custodian, and he went on to transfer to SF State. And today he works for the city of Palo Alto as an assistant planner. And he wasn't just an exceptional student. He went on to pay his gifts forward by being a mentor through the Puente program, which, as you know, has been an anchor for our Latinx community, both inside and outside of the classroom. I'm thinking about Miss Jerry, a Filipina immigrant who got her early childhood education at Kenyatta College. She opened a Montessori preschool with her family in 2004, which has served hundreds of families in my neighborhood. And she got her start at the adult school, which is just down the street. And it was through the linkage between the adult school and CSM that got her there. Dave, I know that you have so much more to give, and that you really bring tremendous vision and commitment to equity. And I'm proud to support you, and I'm really excited for the chance and what I hope will be the opportunity to work together in the next 4 years, and particularly around the housing crisis and the need to support our homeless students through what I hope will become a safe parking program in San Mateo. So I'm very excited to work with you, and I'm so grateful for your service.
Thank you, Emma. And I love the fact you tell the stories the same way I do, which is our students, when they tell their stories, that speaks for the entire district and everything we try and do. And the safe parking is another one. And it breaks my heart that we have several hundred students sleeping in their cars every night here in San Mateo County, one of the wealthiest counties in the United States. And together, I think we can make a real difference in providing a safe, decent, respectable place where our students can have safety and decency and humanity while they go about their studies and try and be great contributing members of our society here in San Mateo County. So thank you for all your efforts in making San Mateo a better place. And now what I'd like to do is introduce one of my fellow trustees and colleagues who's really the distinguished statesman here, Robert Griffin from the San Mateo Union High School District Board. Bob, you've been at this since 1996, which is a true testament to something, durability, endurance.
Boy, that's a ringing endorsement coming from this crew.
Yeah, and you've made such a difference in San Mateo, and I'm so proud to know you because you went to college at San Mateo. You know, you've done exactly what we talk about. You went to college at San Mateo, you went on to get a degree and become a distinguished accountant and be a managing partner in an accounting firm in San Francisco, and you're still giving back through junior achievement and giving back to the youth in the community, and then serving on the high school board. It's like you're an outstanding individual, and I'm so pleased to know you and be able to welcome you and ask you to say a few words here. So,
well, I appreciate those kind words, and I feel like I must be running for something after you built me up like that. So good afternoon, everyone. I did, in fact, attend the College of San Mateo in the Community College District. It was way before Wayne went anywhere near any camp, probably before he was born. At the time, it was in the 60s. I got out of San Mateo High School, and I characterized myself as a rudderless ship. And the College of San Mateo and the program up there, really, it did wonders for me. You know, the 60s were kind of a tough time, turbulent. Nobody, kind of like where we are today, massive unrest. We didn't have COVID-19. I was lucky enough to meet a couple of, I describe them endearingly as a couple of old crusty professors. And they helped me ground myself. Talked about career opportunities, things I could do, and opened up a pathway where I could transfer. And I transferred to the University of San Francisco and got an accounting degree and been a CPA with an accounting firm for 40 years. So I really appreciate it. I know what can be done through the community college. I know it much like my nephew who used it during the summers to try to cut his tuition cost for his college. and other people who needed vocational training. So, I mean, it's a great place. It was able to connect me with some really good teachers, a good education at an affordable price. And I know it's not the same as it was back when gas was a nickel, but it's still a really good bargain. And it helped me find a career that I loved. Being on the high school board, and certainly we've got a lot of educators here, I think it's up to the community college district and the San Mateo High School district to ensure that we've got a pathway for our graduates to get to college or to get to skilled technical training if that's their, we want to qualify them and open up pathways. And I think the community college is an excellent place to get, for them to go. I know we have a really successful middle college program up at CSM, and it's grown. I think it's tripled from like 60 to 180. And we're building on that, and we're actually working on. I was talking to our superintendent, a seamless transition, because one of the worst transitions I had, in fact, was a graduating senior that knew everything about everything, to a clueless adult, 18-year-old adult at the College of San Mateo, and so we want to make that seamless, that transition, so that we don't lose students along the way, so that they can hit the deck running and see where they really want to go. I look forward, Dave, to working with you and the other trustees up there for the next 4 years, and I think you've done a great job of preparing students. Personally, I think you've got great vision and leadership ability, and we need people with experience. We're gonna be in for a rough ride here for the next few years, and we need people who have been there, who have good judgment, and who can size up budget and finance quickly, because we're gonna need people that can think on their feet and figure out where we can cut and still maintain the integrity of the program. So anyway, that's why I'm endorsing you, and I wish you all well in your reelection campaign.
Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate that. And thank you for everything you've done for so many years for San Mateo Union High School District and the city of San Mateo. And thank you for being such a great example of what our students can do and live their lives out with such success. So thank you so much. And then for our final speaker from San Bruno, I'd like to introduce Michael Salazar, a council member and vice mayor of the city of San Bruno, has been very active volunteer in the community on the Parks and Rec Committee and the Crime Prevention Committee, and volunteer for kids athletics and soccer and t-ball. And like many of us, also has a day job as well. So how he manages to fit this all in is beyond me. But Michael, let me turn this over to you for a few words. And thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule today.
Absolutely, Dave. Thanks for having me. I wanted to share a few thoughts from the perspective of our city. And as you can imagine, here in San Bruno, we are very proud to be home to one of the district's community colleges. And being one of the smaller cities and having that resource here is really quite amazing. I was looking at the statistics, and it looks like Skyline's student population is roughly about half of our entire city's population. So it's quite an effort. It's quite a big operation. And even so, Skyline remains a great neighbor and a really trusted partner to our city. And so we really appreciate having it here. I'm thinking back to when I first got on the council, back when we had the PG&E gas line explosion. When we were ready to transition some of our residents back into the neighborhood, Skyline opened up the campus and allowed us to stage our operations up there and process the residents to come back into their homes. And then a few months later, when we held our first candlelight vigil for the people who perished in that horrible incident, Skyline again allowed us to use the campus. And so it's really been a partnership with the city that we've experienced. More recently, we held our State of the City address in the newest building on that campus. We've held some of our offsite council meetings there, our strategic planning session. And so it really has been an asset to the city to have the campus there. And, personally, both of my children were able to take their first college classes there while they were still in high school because of the partnership that Skyline has with Cappuccino High School. And so, again, those partnerships, very, very critical. Extending beyond the campus, back in 2014, Skyline created the Bay Area Entrepreneur Center in our downtown, and it's been a wonderful asset to our small business community. And this year especially, we have a partnership now with our San Bruno Community Foundation and the Chamber of Commerce, and they are providing more resources to the small businesses and helping them maneuver all of the paperwork and all the recovery process that we're going through as we recover from COVID-19. So again, critical function that's been provided to our city, and all as a function of having Skyline here in our city. And of course, it goes without saying that these things don't happen by accident, and it takes leadership and vision to make these things happen. And Dave, we first met years ago when the governing board had a joint session with our city council. And it was back then that I really came to understand how important of a role it is that the trustees play in making sure that the community college system is competitive and current, and that the facilities are maintained. And under your tenure, Dave, that's exactly what we've seen. And the campus, our campus, has definitely flourished, and I know the entire system has flourished. And so, Dave, you have a very impressive background. You have a great track record. To me personally, you've proven that you're responsive and a real caring and committed friend to our community. So I'm proud to support you in your reelection. I know that you're going to keep on doing some great things for our communities, for our colleges. And I wanted to thank you for the dedication that you've given our community for the past 17 years, and I wish you the best of luck in your next term.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate those kind words, and thank you for everything you do in San Bruno. And as I often say, that the most important word in our title of Community College District is community. We try very hard to be a good neighbor when it's been some really sad times around the gas explosion, as you mentioned, and we stepped up and really tried to help and be a good partner to the city of San Bruno and deal with that, to in the good times where we try and help our entrepreneurs and small business people in their successes, and helping out in the tough times as well as we go through this economic downturn caused by COVID-19. And that's what we're there for, is the Community College District is there to serve the needs of our community, whatever they might be. And that's one of the reasons why I want to run again. And I'll just talk briefly here. And thank you to all of the speakers, and Gene, Dave, Ann, Wayne, Emma, Robert, and Michael. I appreciate all the kind words. I'm trying to get my head shrunk down enough to fit back in one of these Zoom windows here. But I just want to spend a few minutes to wrap this up and talk about what I see as some of the key challenges ahead, and kind of what has really made me decide to run again and serve another 4 years, because I think there are some things that I can really make a contribution to make our good community college district even better than it is. Obviously, one of the things that's on our mind right now, and why we're doing this as a virtual event rather than a physical in-person event, is the COVID-19 pandemic. And how are we going to recover from that? We have online learning going on in our campuses now, and will be for the fall and through the end of the calendar year. But that brings with it some challenges on how we continue to serve our most at-risk students who may not have the technology, who may not have the living situation, who may not have the support that they need to succeed in school. And we need to make sure that we remember those students even as we transition online. And then when it's safe, we bring our students back onto campus. We bring our employees back on campus with safety, with social distancing, and all the health things that we need to do. And we bring our community back onto the campuses as well to fully engage with the community again. So I hope one day in the not too distant future, we'll be able to safely resume our face-to-face classroom instruction. But we know it's going to be difficult. There's going to be some choppy water ahead. The economic downturn that's going to be caused by COVID-19, we're already seeing the impact on the state budget. I think we're going to see the same impacts locally as well. We're going to have to make the same kind of tough choices that we did as we went through the Great Recession from 2008 to 2012. And I think that experience, now I learned a number of things that were very significant about, change is hard, and getting people to accept the fact that we're going to have to consolidate some programs and we're going to have to make more out of less is going to be tough. And having had that experience of going through that once, I think gives me some unique advantages to be able to address those challenges going forward. As has been mentioned, we also have some critical leadership transitions taking place right now in our district. We have a new chancellor, Mike Clare, who's been on board for 2 months. We have 2 new college presidents, one who'll be starting at Skyline College this summer, another new one at College of San Mateo next year. We have several new very senior administrative positions we've had some retirements and we're replacing those folks. And so we've got some 3, I think, new senior administrators starting that we really need to make sure get on board and transition successfully. And after the November election, we will have at least 2 new trustees in the south part of the county, and maybe 3, because I take nothing for granted in this trustee area 3, but I can say if there's a new trustee from trustee area 3, then I won't have to worry about the transition going forward. But I would like to be there to help with this, because I think, again, having the experience and the knowledge of where we've been and where we need to go and what our plans are is very important. And that's the kind of institutional memory that you don't get from just having served 1 term or having been to a few board meetings over the past few months. It's really something that takes years of experience to really understand the history of the district and where we've gotten to and where we need to go and how we write that next chapter of success for our district in the 21st century. And one of the things that I've really found is the North Star that's guided me as I've been a trustee for the past 16 or 17 years now is really focus on students. And that's part of our mission statement of our district, is that we put our students first. And when we focus on that, we generally tend to do a reasonably good job as a board and as a district of making our students successful. We've invested a lot of money in our Promise Scholars program. I'm a big believer in that program. I think it's making a huge difference so far, but we're only in year 3 of the program. And I want to make sure that that program is successfully launched and really demonstrates its potential to improve the achievement of all our students in our 3 colleges in the San Mateo County Community College District. I really want to make sure that we continue to put students first and we focus on each individual student and what their educational goals are, because not all students are alike. Some are coming to us for career technical training and getting a certificate to get a better job. Some are coming to us to get an AA or AS degree, and that's really their goal, where they want to go. Some are transferring to a 4-year college, and they're here for their first 2 years or to take some basic studies classes, and then they'll go on to a 4-year college or university. And unfortunately, the state measures don't pick up all those successes that we have. If it's a student who's a working student who's coming in just to get one job in one class in computer programming that's relevant to their job, that improves their job skills, that student may have a very successful experience out of college, but the state of California doesn't count that as a success because they didn't complete a certificate, they didn't complete an AA or AS degree, and they didn't transfer to a CSU or a UC. That's what the state of California counts as success. And I know we do a lot more than that, but we have to know how to measure that and how to provide all the things that our students need, so that when we have those students, like we have one this year, that transferred to Stanford University, that counts as a success, even though they may not have gotten an AA or an AS degree and they didn't transfer to a CSU or a UC. I would certainly count that as a successful student experience in our community college district. And we want to have more of those successful experiences and make sure that all of our students achieve their educational dreams and goals. And some of that means understanding why our students don't succeed. And very often it has nothing to do with their brain power or what happens in the classroom and their ability to succeed academically. It goes with all of the things that are very tough in this very high cost area to live in. They have a lot of barriers around food insecurity, transportation difficulties, just getting to our classes, and of course, housing insecurity in such a high rent, high cost area to live in. So we need to do more as a district to eliminate those non-classroom barriers that our students face. I've been a leader on our board in addressing several of those issues and starting our shuttle programs, in addressing food insecurity and providing hot meals and grab-and-go meals to our students who had been relying on subsidized food when they were in high school. But all of a sudden, when they get to community college, the government, the federal government at least, assumes that they're not hungry anymore. And we know differently that they have the same issues, that they need food to be able to be successful in their studies. And so that's something that we need to provide, whether it's the food pantry or a subsidized meal in our cafeteria. We need to do more in that area. And of course, housing our students in this very high cost area is something that we need to spend a lot more time and effort on. We're making steps in that direction, but there's a lot more to be done. And having a history, when I first started and we started addressing workforce housing, I'd like to continue to apply that same creativity and brain power where we solved a lot of those problems to solving our student housing issues as well. And then finally, I'm very proud that I've been involved in the implementation of our first district-wide strategic plan. It's been 5 years now. I'm now part of the subcommittee that's working on the second iteration of this strategic plan. It really helps tie all of this together to focus on the needs of our students, our community members, our business partners in the community, and what they want the San Mateo County Community College District to do for them. And I want to make sure that we have the appropriate goals in that plan to meet those needs, that we have the appropriate benchmarks to see how we're doing and measure our performance. And with those metrics, we can then connect that back to our budget and where we're spending our money to make sure that our taxpayer dollars are being spent on those programs that we can demonstrate are helping to achieve the goals that we have of student success, of meeting the needs of the community, and making sure that we're providing the best educational opportunities possible for every member of the San Mateo County community. So those are some of the things where I think I have some unique experience from my financial background and the skills to my history on this board of understanding what our vision is of this district and what our strategic plan is, and being involved in the strategic planning process and knowing what it takes to make our students successful and knowing some of the barriers and the hurdles that they face and how we can address those. Those are the things that came to me when I thought about this. And I said, I've got some unique skills and knowledge. I think I'm very well equipped to do this and address some very serious challenges that we face in the next 4 years. And that's why I've decided to run again. And I would really appreciate the support of the voters in Trustee Area 3 to hopefully give me another turn here to spend another 4 years to make our community college district even better than it's been in the past. So thank you very much. Information about my campaign, what I'm doing, where I'll be, what events are coming up. Please see the new and improved website at www.davemandelkern.com. It's up and running now. As of last night, at least, we got this launched, and it was a lot of effort over the weekend, but thanks to all the help and my campaign helpers to get that up and running. And again, thank you everyone for joining me today in this, and on to the campaign, and hopefully on to victory on November 3rd. And I look forward to being able to continue to serve as your trustee on the San Mateo County Community College District Board. So thank you all very much.